Okay, so this presentation is for both Google Certified Educator levels 1 and 2. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to show you the resources on that, and I'm also going to show you the basics of the test. Now, level 2 requires that you have passed the level 1 certification test. So I'm assuming that. If you have not, then you need to do the level 1 before you do the level 2. I'm also looking at giving partial credit for this. If you go through all the modules from Google and then you take the test and you don't pass the test for whatever reason, then you'll get an email. And if you take a screenshot of the email and also you of passing all the modules, I'm looking at giving 2 days credit as opposed to 3 days credit for that. I'll be sending this recording along with the Google form by the end of the week that it would allow you to upload either the certificate or the email and the screenshot of the modules that you had taken or completed in level 2 in order to get credit. So if you have questions about that or anything else, please ask. Just raise your hand, or easier would just be to unmute yourself. I'm going to go ahead. Ms. Fillmore, did you have a question?
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, welcome. So my name is Brooke, and let's see here. I think everybody's been in, but there's the presentation one more time if you need it. And I'm going to record I am recording this one, but I am, let's see here. I'm recording my last session. I want to make sure it's on the desktop. There we go. Cool. Okay. So here we are, Google Certified Educator Level 2. So basically, if you were here for the Level 1, then the Level 2 is very similar in the sense that I'm going to go through the basics of Level 1 and make sure you got all those tasks down and the resources for that, which I'm assuming you do. So I'll probably go through that fairly quickly, and then I'll show you the Level 2. Level 2 is just an extension of the Level 1. So in Level 1, for example, you had to do a spreadsheet, create a spreadsheet, and I think you had to order it with grades from least to greatest, or you had to take the average of them, something probably pretty simple. With Level 2, they're going to have you do something, say, pivot table. So you're going to have to learn about pivot tables, which are not my strength either, but before the test, I boned up on it. I went through the checklist, and I learned a little bit more about pivot tables. And then I do believe I probably Googled it during the actual test. The format is going to be the same. It's going to be where it's going to ask you questions and your multiple choice and matching and stuff like that, moving stuff around. And then you are going to have to answer those questions. And then you'll be have some tasks to complete, just like in Level 1. Those tasks are going to be more in depth, like I just said. So and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a minute. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into here. So here's the old Teacher Center. They are changing this to the new Teacher Center. Most of my pictures are linked. So if you see a picture on a slide or a screenshot, that's more than likely going to be linked. And I'm going to take you to the new Teacher Center. So I'm going to click on slide 4, click on the picture, and then here we are in the new Google for Education Training Center or Teacher Center. So it's similar to the old one, and you can explore it on yourselves. I'm not going to explore the whole thing for you. And what I am going to show is the training courses. Let's click on that. And then here we are over here for advanced learners. I recently, earlier this week, went through the beginning training again, the fundamentals, and you'll see how I passed it on June 7th. And you'll see how I have check marks on everything. That would be the type of thing that you would do for the Level 2 for the advanced learners. So you go ahead and click on Start Training. And then here's our advanced training. And then here are the modules that you're going to need to go through. Now, this, you can go as quickly through these or as slowly through these as you want. They have the recommended times, but if you already know about a subject and you want to get right to the actual test part of it, you can. So I just go to launch here, my e-course, and it tells me what I'm going to learn, the skills. And actually, this is something I would need to go back over, and I'm going to have to take the level 2 exam also. So I got the Google trainer status a couple of years ago, and so I need to keep up with it. And so part of that is retaking the test so that I'm prepared to be able to talk about them to a certain extent. I said in the last one, so they make you sign an ADE before you take the test. So you're not supposed to be taking any pictures, you're not supposed to, or screenshots, and you're not supposed to like tell anybody exactly what's on the test, but you can, in a general way, kind of walk that line and let people know about what to expect on the exam itself, which is what I do in this training. So here we are and all the things, and you'll notice, if you need to go and learn something about playlists, then you click on it and it's going to take you to the thing about playlists on YouTube, which are very useful. And then over here on the bottom right, I just navigate through. And then, if you don't need to read all this and you want to get straight to the lesson check and take the lesson check, then more power to you. No one's going to hold that against you. What you need to do is you just need, in order for you to get credit, you're going to need to get this right here on the level 2. You're going to need to show that you passed it and take a screenshot of that. And then that will help you get credit for this training. Now, that's not the whole 3 hours. You also have to pass the test for the whole 3 hours, or excuse me, not 3 hours, 3 days. Excuse me, I bet some of y'all gulped on that one. So the 3 days worth of credit. So that's the training center. So again, I'm going to go back to the level 2 training. Once you get done with all this training, you can then take your exam. I definitely recommend you taking all that training before you do it, because it can be very useful. So here I am back on the main website. Let's say you go through there and you bust through it, in 1 day or 2 days or however quickly you want to do it. You can then go over here to certifications, click on Educator Level 2, and it's going to take you to where you can register for the certification exam. It's the same format. It's going to be 3 hours. It's going to be questions and tasks. If you scroll further down, just like on the level 1, they are changing over from, I believe, ProctorU to Criterion. So right now you can actually take the level 2 or 1 exam using either one of those proctors. It's really up to you. I don't really have a preference. I registered under the old one. So the Criterion one. So I'll be taking that one for the level 1. But the new one, the ProctorU, is coming into play. So I will take that one also, just so that I can speak better to it. They're going to be very similar. I've heard that they're, within the Google Trainer group, that there have been issues with them. One of the best things that you can do to prepare for it is make sure that your browser is up to date. To do that on your MacBook, you can click on the magnifying glass on the top right of the Finder bar up here, the right of your name, and you can type in self-service. And then you can go to self-service. And if you get an error here, I recommend you restart your computer, especially if you haven't done it in a few days. And then you go to Google Chrome, it doesn't matter which one, and you click reinstall. And then once it's reinstalled, quit Chrome. So go back in here, go to Chrome, say quit Google Chrome, and then restart it, or you can go to the Apple itself and just restart your computer. So that's how you update your Chrome browser, is through self-service. Another thing that you need to know is how to, if you took level 1, you should know, but how to get the Incognito browser. You just go to File, New Incognito Window. You need to make sure that that's going to work for you, that you don't have anything saved up in there. So it's a good idea to clear your history out and just make sure that you are ready to go. going back to our presentation, and please stop me if you have any questions at all. Let's see here. Like I got one. This one is $25. Yes, the first one's 10. Second one is 25. So like I said, if you go through the training and you take the test, but you don't pass it, then you can still get credit, or I'm working on that. I shouldn't say for sure, but I'm really pushing for that to be worth something, because it's a lot to go through the training and to actually take the test. So I think it's worthwhile. Plus you're putting your own money into it. So yeah. $25. And going back to the format, if you want to look at it, all you do is, here I am at the Teacher Center. I clicked on certifications. I went to level 2, and it'll tell you all the information about it. And here's the FAQs, how to prepare. So they actually have some sample questions that you can take, and those are actually through the training courses. So here I'm back on training courses, and right here. So these 11 units. Okay, getting back to my presentation. So level 1, even if you, I know you passed the level 1, but it would not be a bad idea if you go back through the checklist. This one has been updated, I believe, and go through there and make sure that you can do all of the things on the level 1 checklist and that you're comfortable with that. This is actually Eric Kurtz. But I know that you guys are already proficient since you're in the level 2. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip down here to the level 2, and then on slide 13, I'm gonna click on the level 2 Eric Kurtz skills checklist. And so this basically is an extension. This is for level 2 of the level 1 checklist. So I recommend going through here. He's added a lot of hyperlinks here, and these are the things you're gonna need to do. I suggest you make a copy of it by clicking on File and make a copy and add it to your own drive, or that'll add it to your drive, and then that'll allow you to add notes here, add comments, strike through stuff that you know how to do, and so on and so forth. And you know how I was talking about pivot tables? Right here, Google Sheets, there's a brief video on pivot tables. And I actually had to do some pivot tables for my job. So I have gone in depth using the pivot tables a little bit, but I don't use them too frequently. So when I'm going to retake this test, I'm going to have to go back through here and go through the checklist and make sure that I'm comfortable with taking this again. And then basically that's it. This Shake Up Learning, I added this on here. That's the level 1. I wouldn't even worry about this. I should have taken this off, to be honest with y'all. I was playing with this last night, and this, you know, if you go to Shake Up Learning right here, Shake Up Learning, Fried Ed, all that kind of stuff, they have a number of resources on there, but they're really trying to push you into, like, free resources, but they're really trying to push you into, they're making money. So right here, if I click on courses, they actually have some pay courses that you can go through, which are rather expensive, is the reason that I do not suggest these. So yeah, that's on there. They do have some free resources that you can sign up. You have to sign up your email, and then they will send you. And I honestly did not find anything that was too useful in the free resources. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just delete this slide. Now they do put out some good stuff, and they have some great podcasts and stuff like that. But I really think the best resource, the best idea for you guys is to do the level 2 checklist, and to also go through the actual training that they offer for the level 2. All right. Looks like we got some people joining us. All right, hello y'all. I don't know how long y'all been waiting, but welcome. My apologies if you were waiting too long. So I will go back over for y'all what I've gone over with these people here that were here. I'm going to put the presentation in the chat. So if you want to click on the chat and then click the link. That'll take you to the link. Do I have any questions from anybody that was here about what we're doing? Okay, yeah, thank you, Catherine. So with that said, if you have been in here, and I know a couple of y'all were in for the level 1, we're basically done. Remember how I said the level 1 was only supposed to last a little while, but I'd booked out an hour. So unless you have some questions, feel free to leave at any time. I do want to share 2 things before you do. One of those would be that I know Leeson from Manor High School is going to be doing a training on Google, or he is doing trainings on Google's. So if you go into Eduphoria or you go into the Impact catalog, you'll see that he's done a number of Google Academies already. And I believe he is doing one, he did one earlier, and now he's also going to do one, the Google like 3rd level here coming up soon, unless it got taken off. So I would definitely check for those. Oh, there it is right there on the 11th. So Google Classroom 103, another level. You might think about taking his Google Classroom. I'm going to do an I Teach Basics on Google, but that's probably not going to be something you're going to need. So again, doing the checklist is probably going to be the best thing to go through for the level 2, and also doing the training course. You can always reach out to me if you have any questions. And yeah, so y'all have a great day for those of you that want to go ahead and leave. And for those of y'all that I admitted a little late there, I'm glad that you're here. My name is Brooke, and I will be happy to go through the presentation with you that I just shared in the chat. Do you have any questions before I go through that?
No, I don't. I'm so sorry that I came late.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. We're all professionals, all adults, no problem. We all have stuff going on. I actually was, I had to step inside myself to help my grandmother. We're fortunate, my mother, his grandmother, were fortunate enough to have her and her husband live with us, and she's helping educate my 6-year-old son. So I was stepping in to help with that real quick. So we all have stuff going on here. It's a challenging times for us all, for sure.
Yes, yes.
So I put the presentation in there, and let me show you what I'm talking about here. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can.
Great. So, and just stop me if you have any questions. So on this presentation, I want to push you to the new Teacher Center, which is on screen or slide 4.
Okay.
Let me get rid of these tabs here. And when you click, most of my screenshots are going to be links. So if you click on the picture itself and click on underneath it, it'll say Teacher Center. And then it's going to open up the new Teacher Center for Google for Education. And they are changing from the old one. And the old one's still working, but this is what they're pushing everybody into. And then if you click on training courses to the right of the Teacher Center, you're going to see the level 1 and you'll see the level 2. So you need to have gotten the level 1 training before you do the level 2 and have taken the test and passed it. So have you already done that?
I think I did back in December. I know I did Google training and Apple training, and I'm not sure which is which. How would I be able to check that? How would I do that? Would I have a certificate somewhere?
Oh, do you remember that? Was it a 3-hour test that you took and that you paid for?
Oh, Jesus, no.
Okay. So then you probably, and it's fine. You're in the level 2 class or PD, but you can go do the level 1 and I'll show you that all that information is already on that slide deck. So I'll show you that too. But yeah, to get to level 2, you have to do level 1 first. So
okay, see that's okay. That makes sense because I signed up for level 2 because I thought I had taken level 1 in December, but no.
Yeah. So the 2 levels, level 1 and level 2, refer to the Google Educator certification exam.
Oh.
So to actually get credit for this,
Mhm.
what I'm trying to do, or what I'm working on doing, and I'll email everybody by the end of the week, I'm trying to get partial credit if you go through the training that they have and then you take the test, but if you don't pass it for whatever reason, you can still get credit for 2 days out of the 3 for going through and doing all of that, because it's a lot of work to do all of that. And it's a real bummer to take a test and not pass it. Now, the test is 3 hours. It costs $10, and it's in depth. And so let me show you what I mean by that. So here's level 1. And let's see. I know we have, who else here? Amanda, are you here for level 2 or level 1? Just so I'm clear.
I was here for both, yeah.
Okay, great. So basically, here I am on the new training center, and I click Start Training. And then it'll take me to a new website. You'll notice I have a new tab open up here. And then it'll show passed on June 7th for me. For y'all, you'll probably have to log in with your Google accounts. And then you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see all the units, and you'll probably see a button that says Start Training. And then there's all the units that I need to take, but I've already taken them. And if you scroll down, you see all the check marks, and I'm done with this training, and I can tell that by the passed on June 7th right there. So once you're done with the training, that's one part of this. This is an in-depth process. So let me go over about the test itself. The test itself is 3 hours, and it requires you to answer multiple choice questions, all geared towards education. So, for example, what tool would be best suited to use for your students to collect data on their peers' favorite shoes? And then, you know, they'd have Google Sheets, they'd have Google Forms, Google Docs, and maybe Google Sites or something. And then you would need to know that Google Forms would probably be the best tool for that, and that would be your answer. So the first part of the test is taking the multiple choice and matching questions, and then getting done with that part. And then when you're done with that part, the second part of the test is tasks. And so the tasks are going to be, you know, you need to say, create a Google Classroom. You need to change the banner on the Google Classroom. You need to add a student to the Google Classroom and create an assignment. And this is all with you doing this on using temporary Google credentials that they give you. So you're going to have temporary Google credentials that have access to a Google Drive that already has docs in it and already has everything in it. And you'll have access to the Gmail and everything else through those credentials. And then you'll have those tasks to take. And once you're done with all the tasks and you're done with the test, you can actually, if you have time left, you can go back and go over anything that you kind of had a question about. So let me go back to the training center and show you some more examples. So here I am back on the training for level 1, and I'm going to click on Unit 2 Review. So here's the test. I only got a 90. Well, actually, it won't let me show you that. Dang it. So here I am in this other unit, Unit 4. So they're going to have questions throughout here, and you can go through as quickly or as slowly as you want. So here's what products they're going to cover. And if you want to go over Gmail, then you click on Gmail, and, you know, here's some basics on Gmail and how do I do all that, you know, that kind of stuff. And actually, you know, there's some training on it for you to go over. So really you want to, you know, what's something that you are needing to grow on? What's a tool? And for me, I'll be honest, one of them was Gmail, because we don't use Gmail, right? And so we had to learn to, real quick, speaking of my son. There we go, son. So if you are needing some refresher on a certain tool, I'm going to show you some resources that you can go through that'll help you get stronger on the different tools and different resources within that. So going back to my slideshow, let me show you some of that. So if you click on slide 7, that's the start of level 1, and slide 8 is the level 1 checklist. And this is the one I recommend. If you click on the picture and then you click on the link, here are the skills that you're going to need to know or should know for the test. And so let's look at Google Drive. You're going to need to know how to create files. You're going to need to know how to access and organize them. You're going to need to know how to upload files, all that kind of stuff. Sharing files, for sure. And these are all linked. So if you want to learn something about sharing files, that's something you're not familiar with, you click on the link, and a lot of them will take you to a video on how to share, how to do whatever it's asking you to do. Or it'll take you to a page on step-by-step instructions on how to do it. So this looks like a lot, and I know it might be daunting, and that's why it's worth 3 days worth of trade credit. But what you can do here is just systematically go through it. Click on File, make a copy of it, and then it's your own copy. It's in your Google Drive, and then you can, excuse me. So let me get done with them, and then we can go. Then I can do that. Okay. That's going to require me logging in and doing all that. Can you find something else to play? Thank you. Okay, so once you make a copy of it for yourself and add it to your drive, then you can just go through here. And I would imagine there's a lot of stuff on here that you already know how to do. You probably already know how to create and share a Google Doc. So bam, you can get rid of those two, and so on and so forth, and go systematically go through here and find the things that you need to work on. And so for me, it was Gmail and Google Calendar were my big ones, and Google Sheets. So one example of, how I talked earlier about one of the tasks might be you have to create a Google Classroom, add a student, change the banner. Well, another task might be you have to go into YouTube, and you have to create a playlist, and you have to add 4 different videos that they want you to add to your playlist, so that they want you to share that playlist through Gmail. So you have to go through and, make sure that you're comfortable with playlists. Are you comfortable with creating a playlist? Are you comfortable with sharing a playlist? All that kind of stuff. And the links on here are going to take you to the videos or ads first of how to do those different things. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
I think I went through the Apple training that you had last year in December. I'm thinking, because I remember doing something like this, and I think it was maybe Apple training, and it was real intense.
Okay.
And I passed the test. I don't remember having to pay, but I remember I got like 3 trade days for it or something.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that Jacob is doing the Apple training this summer. I don't think it's 3 days. I know he's doing trainings throughout the week. We're also doing Nearpod every Wednesday, and Nearpod and vocabulary. So those are some great sessions to go to.
I'm signed up for that. But no, because you are on my Google, I've done something with you because you're on my Google share drive.
Okay.
I'm like, where's Brook Park? And it has, so I did something googly with you. I can't remember what it was.
It might have just been a training geared towards getting your certification.
Okay.
So, or it might have just been a Google training. We're going to offer Google trainings throughout the summer. So we'll be adding some more on there as we get going. And definitely geared towards basics. I'm doing a training later this week that has nothing to do with taking the test. It's just simply basic Google things. And I'm basically going to go through, I'll give myself a task, and then I'm going to show, everybody how to do the task. Right. So for example, this task right here, the Google search, I might do something on, basically step-by-step, how to do Google search, how to look at images, how to look at the different usage rights, all that kind of stuff. And you'll get credit just for being in the class and you won't have to take an exam or anything like that.
Is there a way, because I can go through this list and I can do this,
Okay.
but I would like to be in a class where you're actually explaining things to us. How could I go about, can I still go about signing up for that class that you just mentioned, where you're going to do tasks? And
Yeah,
how many of those
but it's
classes
not,
are you gonna have?
again, I mean, those type of things will help you pass the test, but it's
Right.
not going to be geared towards the test itself. And right now we don't have any training aligned with just simply to pass the test. We have training aligned to do, different things within the Google, so yeah, at some point going forward in the future, we might have something to do, something like that, but it's not really, again, like when you take the test, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And so you're not supposed to be doing, you're not supposed to be disclosing what you're actually doing within the test. So that's why I kind of try to keep it general. And really, honestly, like going through it is great, and we all learn differently, but there's a lot of resources out there, and within this presentation, I'll show you some more resources that we have available to us that will allow you to learn both synchronously and synchronously. So I'm going to bounce down to the level 1 checklist, the second page, and I click on it, and this is Stacy Klein's. So hers is more geared towards, here's the overall Google tool, and here's some things how to learn it. So Google Sheets, I'm going to click on that one, and then here I am in the Google Sheets, and then here are the training lessons on it. So I'm not quite sure how you best learn, but I learn best through doing it and also watching videos. And the nice thing about videos is that, here we go. You are able to just pause them and rewind and watch them again and that kind of thing. So that can be really useful. So this is that second checklist, and that was on slide 9. And then speaking of videos, on slide 10, this one, if you click on the link underneath it, takes you to a YouTube playlist, speaking of playlists, and this gentleman created videos all for passing the Google One certification test.
Wow, that's cool.
And so this is a great resource. And you don't have to watch all of these videos. You can fast forward through them, or you can do anything like that. But you can also, for me, I know that I needed help, say with calendar. So I would just go and watch the calendar one and make sure that I'm clear on that. So yeah, I mean, there are going to be things that you're weaker and stronger on, and all that kind of thing. And that's what that checklist is for. So let me be clear. There's 2 parts of the test. The first part is going to be best answered by going to the Teacher Center. And let me get to the new one. And so the new Teacher Center, which is found on slide 4, this is where you're going to go through the training course for the level 1 or level 2, depending on what you're taking. Then this will prepare you for the multiple choice questions, and it'll give you a lot of help with the different tools, Google tools that they have on here. So let me show you what I mean by that. So it's showing I've already done it. Here we go. So here we go. At the very bottom, you see these questions. These are the type of questions that you're going to find at the beginning of the Google exam. And so you would have to answer these questions, and they're going to have multiple questions, like multiple choice questions, but they'll also have matching. So they might have a problem that has, Google Sites, Google Forms, Google Docs, and Google Classroom. And then they might have 4 scenarios, and you're going to have to match those scenarios with each of the Google tools. That would be one question. and so on and so forth. But as you go through here and go through these lesson checks and the unit assessments, these questions are going to let you know if you are getting better and are ready to take, that first part of the exam. And then the second part of the exam is where you're going to use the checklist to help you with the tasks, of creating. Here's a third scenario. So I went over a doc, creating a doc and sharing it. Maybe I did classroom. So maybe you have to create a Google Sheet. You have to add some students to it. You have to add their grades to it. And then you have to take the average of those students' grades. So you need to know how to do that in a Google Sheet. So, that would be organizing data in there or whatnot. So that's the two parts of the exam.
Okay.
Okay.
And then if you go down here to out underneath slide 10, where we had the playlist of the Google videos, on slide 11, if you click on Educator Activity Practice and you click on the link there, this is going to take you to Sarah Kiefer's Wakelet page. And then I'm going to scroll down here.
Mm-hmm.
And as I scroll down, you'll see task cards. And task cards for level 1 educator certification. So let's say you click on that link. You go to File, and you click Make a Copy, and you say Entire Presentation, and that adds it to your drive. And that makes a copy for you so you can edit it. You can do whatever you want to it. You can make comments, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't want to do that, you can just click on the little Google Drive up here, and that will add it to your Google Drive, but it'll still be the original. Or you can say File, Add Shortcut to Drive. So anyway, these tasks right here, these task cards, are created by someone else. And what you would do is you would click on them and you would say, okay, I need to know how to sign into Chrome. I need to know how to do this. I need to know that. And you just go step by step by step through them. And so if you don't know how to open a new incognito window, what I would do is just highlight the text that you want to look for and then go open up a tab, paste it in there, and then type maybe Chrome, and then if you're on a Mac, type in Mac, and then search. And then look at the search results. And just like our students, when we're asking them to do research on the internet, this right here, you would say, okay, well, this website, excuse me, is made by Google. So this is probably a good one to go to. And then if you scroll down, say to the bottom of the page, and you have macolotwordpress.com, from 2012, this is probably not one you want to go to, right? Because this is older, 8 years old, and, it's someone's personal account. So what I would do is say, okay, well, this first one looks good. And you can either use the little screenshot of it right here, which says you can do Control-Shift-N on a Chrome, Windows, or Linux, or we're on Mac, so we do Command-Shift-N. And that would open up, if you do that on your keyboard, that'll open up an incognito browser.
Okay.
And, there are multiple ways to do things. So I would venture to say that if I click on this link, it's also going to tell me that, excuse me, I can go up to the top and click File and click New Incognito Window. And that's going to take me into the new incognito window.
Okay.
And so one of the biggest things that I can really push people towards is getting better at Googling and getting comfortable with Googling and getting comfortable with, watching the videos and looking at it, and then, going through the different resources that you have and finding the one that works for you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a resource also, so I have no problem with you sending me a hangout or an email saying, Brooke, I don't know how to do this, and saying this is what I need to know how to do, and I can't. But the one thing that I would ask that you do before you shoot me that email or that hangout is that you tell me is that you had done a search yourself, and you went in there and you said, you know what, I did a search and I don't understand it still. Please help, and I'd be happy to help you. But I am going to push you, to grow with the learning how to Google things better, and how to take what you Google and discern the information.
Well, when we started doing online classes, I went to YouTube and Google and figured out how to set up a Google Classroom.
Okay.
And inside of there, I did the one where you, oh God, not Google Sheets, but the one where the kiddos can read the passage and then you can give them multiple choice answers.
Google Forms, maybe?
There we go, Google Forms. And I had a problem, an ongoing problem that I could never figure out how to solve. It was, I would do the Google form, right? I would give them the multiple choice answers. I would go in, make it a quiz, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I would put the correct answer.
Okay.
All right. But then when the kiddos would go in and they would take the test or they would do the activity and then answer the questions, it would always mark them as incorrect. What did I do wrong? Or how can I improve?
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I don't know specifically what you did wrong. I know that you would need to make sure that you put when you did the answer choices, you have to choose one that's correct for them to be marked correct. And then what I always suggest is that you do it yourself before you give it to your kids if possible. So you have access to, the Skyward and the logins for the kids, and you can also maybe do it yourself with your account and take the test and see the results and test it yourself. And then that way you can troubleshoot it. So without me like thinking right off, that would be the first thing I would check, but I don't know specifically what was not right without, digging deeper into it. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know that answer without you like sharing the form with me, and then maybe I can look and, dig deeper with you on that. But
go ahead. Sorry.
So getting back to this though, here's Google Drive on Google slide 7. This would be a task that you need to be able to do. You need to be able to create a folder and then a folder within there, nesting one. You need to be able to label these. And this is exactly, or similar to what you would see on the test. You would need to say, it would be easier probably for you to copy, the level 1 workshop, since that's what you need to do. And then you go to your Google Drive and then you, that didn't do right. Click on new and click folder, label the folder, and then you would have to bounce back and this is just like what you would do on the exam. Then you would say, okay, now I need to do another folder and I need to call it practice. So I copy practice, I go back to my Google Drive, and then I have to find, the folder that I'm in, and then I'm going to create another folder in there, and I'm going to label it practice and create that. And then I go back to my task card, and this is just the same thing. I mean, that you would be very similar. And then you'd have to create a document in there, and then you might have to share the folder. And then you'll notice that it says share the practice folder. Mm-hmm. So, you're not sharing the level 1, you're not sharing this one, you're sharing the nested folder. And so you would share the practice folder, and this says with someone at your table, but you can share it with anybody. You can share it with me for all, if you wanted to. So as you go through here and practice, the different tasks to get you ready for the test. And again, you're asking, like, how can I get better and more fluent? Definitely go into some more Educator courses and finding some other ones out there and watching videos and Googling it. But if you took these task cards right here, and you went through and you said, here, I'm going to do this today, and you did all of this, that's going to increase your ability to, with the Google in general, not necessarily, or not just taking the test, but this is going to help you all around. And let's say right here, change the color of your level 1 workshop to red or yellow. So if you don't know how to change color of a folder, then I would copy, change color. And with the Google search, less is more. So I don't need I'm going to take the out, and I'm just going to say change color, folder, and then drive. And if you want, you can type in Google, and then bam, here's a bunch of stuff on changing the color. And actually that was a search within Google. But if I did it up here in the main Omnibox, is what Google calls that, then there's a snippet starting at 14 seconds of how to do it. That's what Google's checking. And look at that, May 2019, how do you change color of folders within a team drive? Well, we don't care about the team drive, but so that might not be the one for you. So you gotta discern through here and, you know, find the one that's going to give you the information that you want.
Okay.
So here we go. People also ask, can you color code folders in Google Drive? So if you're all about visual, you know, et cetera, I'm not going to read it to you, but right click your folder of choice and select the option change color. So I go back to my Google Drive, I find the folder, and then I right click on it and there's change color. So yeah, these right here would be very helpful for you to getting more comfortable with the Google for sure. And yeah, as we create more courses, we will be sure to put them out there too.
Okay. Okay.
And one thing also, and this is like for Gmail, since we don't have Gmail, one thing I'd like to share with you too is the ability on your Chrome browser to have your personal Google account, which has Gmail, as opposed to just you and your mainer one. So if you've ever logged into your, tried to log into your personal Gmail account, like on your, let's see, mail.google.com. And here I am, I'm logged in with my mainer account. It'll give you this message because it fights with you, right? Because we don't have access to Gmail. So the solution for this is to either go incognito, or if you go up the top of your Finder bar, excuse me, and to the right of Chrome, I click on People, and I click Add Person. This will allow me to add a personal Google account to my Chrome browsers, and then allow me to access them. So then you would put your personal credentials in here, and you'd log in, and then you would be able to access your personal browser without trying to go through the mainer one. And that's helpful when you're interested in taking the exam also, so that you can use your personal with Gmail. So again, just let me show you how to do that. I go up to Chrome, go to People, I click Add Person, and I log in. And then once you're logged in, let's say the next time I get on here, I want to go to my personal account. I open up Chrome, but wait a second, I'm in my mainer account. Well, I just go up to People, and then I find the person that I want to be. In this case, here's my son's browser. I click on his browser, and bam, here's my son. He's got his own color for his background, and he's got his own toolbar up here, or with his favorites, you know, of Khan Academy and or whatever else. And he's got his own Zoom going on. So that's a real quick and easy way to practice other skills that you don't have access to within your mainer account. But it's also a nice way to be able to use your computer with your personal Gmail without having to fight with the mainer one.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I also showed you earlier how to find self-service and make sure that your Chrome browser is up to date. So,
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm braiding hair at this time. When I have my full questions and I want to share something with the parents, not to the student's main ISD, but to an actual parent, and before I could share, if I go to that People tab, I add.
Okay, you're breaking up quite a bit for me though, but what I heard was something about sharing a mainer ISD from your mainer ISD account to someone that's outside our organization. Is that correct? And you can type it in the chat also if you need to.
Sorry, it takes me off. I didn't hear anything. Can I add like a parent's personal email to that People tab and I can share some things?
Can you add? I kind of caught the end of that. You said, can you add a what tab?
like a parent's personal email to the people tab, and then I share like a slide or something from the drive with them that way. Will that work?
Let me make sure I understand the question. So you have something in the Google and you want to share it with a parent. So you go to share and you can enter in their name here. So for example, am I on the right path? So I'm going to share something with my son who's not in the Manor ISD. So once I go here, I'm going to click viewer instead of editor for him and then notify. And then here's what I'm sharing with him. And then I press send, and Google's going to warn me that this is outside my organization. And then I'm going to click share anyway.
Sometimes
I can't hear you. Can you type it in the text? Do you mind? I can't hear you. We are beholden to our internet. So while she's typing that, I hope that those task cards are useful for you. And like I said, feel free to reach out with questions too, but just make sure that you do your best to Google it ahead of time and try to increase that skill. But I'm happy to help. Just going over the level 2 while I'm waiting on that question. When you're ready, here's the level 2 checklist, and it's basically just a continuation of the level 1 checklist, but it's more in depth. And there's also, when you go to the Teacher Center for the training, this is where, you would do the level 2 training to go through. All right. Go to the chat. Okay. Do you have any other questions while we're waiting? Oh, she left.
No, I don't have any more. I just wanted to, because what you're doing is fantastic. I love these slides. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work towards the certification,
Okay.
but I need to really know how to do Google Classroom and all that entails, right?
Okay.
Because I'm teaching summer school.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, and so it starts Monday. So
Okay.
I would like to be able, and I feel like that, can you hold on for 1 second, please? Let me just.
Hi, Amanda.
I want to make sure that I can make sure that the kiddos are getting what they need. I want to use Google Forms because I like the setup of it. It allows me to give them questions, them answer, and I can get quick grades, right? And give them good feedback. So I need to go in, if I'm understanding you correctly, and practice that more than anything, because I can pretty much do everything. It's just that Google Forms, it's killing me.
Okay. Well, let me push you right now into something that might be useful for you right now, and then stay on the line with me if you have time. And I'm going to answer Amanda's question, and then once we're done, I can stay on here with you, and we can go over Google Forms and Google Classroom and get you a little bit more comfortable with it. So, Amanda, how are you doing? You had a question about sharing a document with a parent outside the organization? Looks like you didn't connect with your audio. So if you go to chat on your bar and you click chat, you can type in a question to me. Let's see. So while I'm waiting, oh, she left again. Okay. So we'll wait for her to come back. But while we're waiting, let me go back to the main right here. And so I am going to go to not the task cards, but the training I'm given. So I want to go back up to slide 4. I'm going to go to the Teacher Center. And this is where I'm going to push you right here. I want you to go click on Product Guides. Let me know when you're there.
Oh, okay, hold on, PRO. Okay, it's gonna be a minute. I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
Okay. You want me to go back over how to get there?
No, my computer is,
Acting wonky.
it really is. There's a certain little button that you have to put, you know what, maybe I can do escape. There we go. I figured it out.
Okay, great.
Okay, now I need to go, I have that.
So go back to our slideshow.
Okay, and which slide number am I on?
You're going to click on slide 4.
Slide 4 and go to new teacher.
Click on the picture, and then you're going to click on the link within the picture.
Okay, I'm there.
And then it's going to open up into a Teacher Center with a teacher interacting with a kid.
Yes, yes.
And then at the top of the screen, you're going to see training courses, product guides, certifications, and so on and so forth. I want you to click on, or just hover over product guides.
Right.
Let's go down to classroom. Let's start with classroom.
Wait.
So click on classroom.
Got classroom.
And then right here, if you look on the left side of where this video is, you'll see the different little topics that they have. And if you click on each topic, that's where you could, watch the video.
Okay.
And then if you go back up to the product guides, right underneath classroom, there's forms. And forms will have the same thing. Forms will have the basics of it. Now, it sounds like you needed some specific stuff with forms, right? So let me go into my Google Drive.
Okay.
And then I'm going to click on New, More, and then Google Forms. And then just to make things easy, I'm going to click up here on the top of it, and I'm just going to title this today's date, which I don't know what today is, 06/09/2020.
Sounds good.
And then there's my first question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my question, and I can choose, whatever type you want it to be. Now, you were saying you want it to be go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I said multiple choice, but yeah.
Yeah, so multiple choice, and then saying, I don't know why. So what day is it today? And then instead of date, I'm just going to go ahead and choose, Monday. Oh, look, it puts them in for me.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say fun day. Okay, so now I'm going to require this question.
Okay.
And then I want to, I need to make this a quiz, because right now I can't choose the correct answer. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to, let me go back over what I did. To the left of the send bar on the right of my screen, there's a little gear wheel.
Right.
Click on gear wheel.
I can get that far, and then I go over to quizzes. Is that the correct thing? No.
Yeah, but let me just show you. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off right now. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to test it, right? You want to be able to test it.
Okay.
So I'm going to unrestrict it. Normally I would want to do that. And normally I'd want to collect email addresses. But if I do that, what this will allow me to do is once I turn it into a quiz, I can go test it and see what happens. Okay. So I'm going to press presentation and just make sure. And then I'm going to do quizzes, and I'm going to make this a quiz.
Okay.
And then release grade. You can do it however you want. And then you can choose down here. So I'm going to click save.
Okay.
And now I'm going to go back to my question, and then I'm going to click on the answer key. And I'm going to choose the amount of points.
Right.
And then I'm going to choose the correct answers.
Okay.
So I'm going to say today is my fun day, and then I'm going to press done.
Okay.
And you'll notice there's a check mark next to that now, right?
Yes, yes.
So now I'm going to go up here to send,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to find the link, and I'm going to copy it. And then
Okay.
I'm going to remember from Googling how to do an incognito. I'm going to go up to File and do New Incognito Window. Roman, if you bring me my phone, which is charging, I'll get the password for your Minecraft account, okay? And then I'm in an incognito window. Are you with me?
Well, I am. Wait, I'm trying to write. I'm at send, copy link, file, new incognito window. I'm with you.
Okay. So now I'm in the Omnibox up here, which is also called the search, search or URL address. I'm going to paste in that link. I'm going to press return. And then here it is. There's a quiz. This is what it looks like. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose Fun Day because I know that's the correct answer. And I'm going to press submit. And then we gave them ability to view the score. So then you can see that it's a check mark. So that means that they got it right, right? But let's make sure. Let's double check because I know you are having some issues. So we're going to go back to our regular browser.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to click on responses.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to see that it did record it correctly, that he got 100% the Fun Day, and I earned 100 for my quiz.
Okay.
And then if I want to, I can go over here to the very top right, and I can open up a spreadsheet, and it will be holding all my responses in there.
Okay. See, I never
Now,
got you. But okay.
if you want, you could go back, and we could, and we had this open. So now I'm going to submit another response, and this is going to be wrong, just to test it. So now I view my score. I got it wrong, 0 out of 1. And then I go back to my original form, and looky there, 0 out of 1, my score.
Okay. Okay, because I had some of the parents one in particular was very upset because this kept happening. And she said her little girl's self-esteem was just bottoming out because she kept thinking that she was getting it wrong. And I said, let her know there's a glitch in the system and I'm trying to fix it. And I never got it fixed. So we went that whole, 3-4 week period of this happening. So what I think I'm going to do is go back and look at my quizzes. Do you think that'll be beneficial? Look at my quizzes and see if I can discern where I went wrong, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I would take one quiz and go back in. But again, I think the big thing from here on out is to take the quiz yourself. And this goes for anything that's dealing with ed tech, in my opinion, and test it yourself, right? And then that way you can make sure that it's going to work for your kids. And if you have an iPhone or an Android, device, or you have a tablet, try to take it on a different device so that you can even see what it looks like, when your kids are going to be possibly using a phone instead of a computer or a tablet or, whatnot, if you have that capability, just because that can really help. Now, one thing before we do anything else, I just want to make sure that I go back to my questions and then I go back over here to the gear wheel, and I want to make sure to restrict to users and collect email addresses if I'm just doing this for my students. So this is going to make sure that they are logged in and that it's going to collect their email addresses. And then again, you would want to make sure, to on the quiz part, if you want these checked or not. And then this is one of the few things in Google, along with Google Sites, that you actually have to save.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's something I'm going to practice these next few days because I love this ability to have them watch a video and answer questions about it. To me, it's just phenomenal.
Have you heard of quizzes?
You know what? I have, but I'm so limited in my time. I hadn't had an opportunity to investigate it. So yeah.
If you got 3 minutes, let me just give you a real quick overview. I typed in the link to it. If I click on login, I always would log in with Google if I can.
Okay.
And then what are you going to be teaching in summer school?
Uh-huh.
No, what?
I know, I'm yawning. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's been intense over here. I'm doing first grade reading.
Okay. So trying to think of something in first grade reading. My son is just going to be going into first grade.
Oh, cool. So maybe comprehension?
What is that?
Comprehension?
Reading comprehension?
Yeah.
So I'm going to type that into the search. The one thing I really like about this is that you can, filter it by grades.
Okay.
And then you can do it by subjects. And, this is third grade, second grade. So I want to find something down there. So, here's a kindergarten one. So maybe that's something to get a look at. So you'll notice when I highlight over a quiz, I can see the questions over here on the right. And I say, you know what? This looks like a good place to start. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this quiz.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can either add this, keep this quiz as it is, or I'm going to go ahead and click edit.
Mm-hmm.
And what it's doing is it's creating a duplicate for me. Okay. And then that means what I can do is I can actually add questions to this.
Okay.
Or look at this, teleport. So what's cool about the teleport is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to enter everything in here. You can go and see what other people have created, and then you can, they call it teleport now, but I can click teleport, and then it's going to have my search for reading comprehension, and it's going to have all the quizzes that we just looked at, and then I can go find one that's going to have some questions that I might want to add. And so here I am on reading comprehension here, and here's my questions. And you see how that little add button pops up?
Uh-huh.
So now I can go add this question to the quiz that we just created.
So where are they getting the source material from to answer the questions? Do they have like a passage? Do they watch a video?
Well,
how does that work?
It looks like in this, it looks like in both of them, like I'm looking at the question number 2 here, it actually has the text within there.
Okay, all right.
And then underneath it is what happens as the children roller skate. Their hair flies backwards, people wave to them, a lion roars. And then the green one will be the correct answer.
Okay, and it's called quizzes. Quizzizz. Ooh, it's not Z's. Okay.
And then what's going to happen here is once you get ready here, you can click done. And you can add your own questions. You can delete some of the questions on there. And then you might want to name this, whatever you want. Summer school reading comprehension 1 or whatever. And then I'm going to click save. It's going to make me click a class. I'll just do that. And then here's my quiz. And then since you're going to be doing it virtually, you can say assign as homework.
Okay.
And then here's, you just got to fill all this out. You got to, put the date you want it by, the time. And then if you're using Google Classroom, let's see, I can connect it to Google Classroom. See right there, that button?
Yes.
Making me sign in with my Mainer account.
Okay.
I know this is a lot in a short period of time, but this is just something to take a look at. I know time is precious.
This is perfect. My silence is good because I'm trying to take it all in. And as we're going, because I know we're short for time, I'm trying to focus, see if I have any questions before I don't have it anymore.
So then you'll notice I imported my classes. Okay. And so I'm going to look at, I'm going to try to find a class I can do. So I'm going to uncheck. And so this is telling me to import my classes into quizzes. So I only want to do the one that I'm doing, say, for summer school. So I'm going to put practice 2 and then click save. So and that'll only be the first time I have to do that. So now, here's my class. And then now I can put quizzes into my classes, assign them. So here's assign homework again,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna press continue. And then
So am I putting quizzes into Google Classroom or Google Classroom into quizzes?
you're doing both, but you're only that first time. So once you've created your
Okay.
Google Classroom, you're going to link your Google Classroom to quizzes, and that's going to allow you to put the quiz into your Google Classroom. And that's just that first time you do that. Now that you've done that, then you can simply, I think, let's see, share a link, and you see where it says Google Classroom.
Uh-huh.
Click on that, and then there's your class that you put in, right? Or I put in,
Right.
practice 2, assignment title, and then this would be, quizzes, RC for reading comprehension. And
Okay.
then I can put more information, it looks like now. And
Okay.
then I can tell them, you could even do this ahead of time. And then I'll just go ahead and choose now. And then next. And then it's going to put that quiz into the Google Classroom under assignments. Now,
Oh, great. Yes. Okay.
But the thing is, though, you would want to test that, right? So we're not
Mhm.
done in the sense that you want to make sure, hey, wait a second, is this going to work for my kids? Is there going to be something weird that they're going to have to do? So then you're going to want to go in here and go to your classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my, you're gonna have to find it. You would find your class. I got too many classrooms going. There it is. And then you would want to find it, and then you would want to. I'm almost done, son. Then you would want to test it, right? So here's my screen. I see it. I'm gonna look at my classwork. There's my quiz. Great. So everything's looking good here. And then this is just me, and this is if you have your kids' login information, go log in as your kids and test it, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
and then you would go log in as your kid and as one of your students and make sure that it is functioning how you want it to work.
Okay.
And I always suggest that. I think that's invaluable.
Yeah, that's what, and thank you so much for showing me that, because I want to give them a couple of options so that as we're doing the reading comprehension part, that they'll be ready for second grade. I just,
Now,
and,
the last thing, and I know we've been on here quite a bit, you're probably tired of my voice droning on here, but the last thing I want to leave you with, are you practicing, are you using Nearpod?
No.
Okay. No judgment on my part.
Well, no, the reason I'm frowning is that I think I'm signed up for that Nearpod vocabulary thing.
Okay.
And
Nearpod,
I haven't,
yeah. So I cannot emphasize enough how powerful Nearpod can be for your students and for yourself, and especially with remote learning. So please go to Nearpod when you have a chance, log in through Google account, create an account, and then you can email Jacob or I, Jacob Levino, and we will upgrade your account, and then it won't show any prices at all. And then you can, assign content and do all the stuff that you need to do within there. And there are a multitude of lessons in there that you can use that are already created, just like the quizzes. But it's more than just quizzes. It's going to be videos. It's going to be quizzes. It's going to be open-ended questions. It's going to be a ton of stuff. So what I did here is I just typed in reading comprehension. I'm going to say ELA. I'm going to say first grade and kindergarten, because I know some kids might need some spiraling back. Don't worry about the prices. Just find, like I said, email us. And then, here we go. I'm just going to say okay, is this worthwhile? Grade 1, comparing characters. And then it allows me to preview the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, let's see, I'm liking it so far. And now what's nice about this is once you have a full account, you can actually add this to your library. And then just like the quizzes, you can add slides and you can delete slides and you can, do whatever. You can make it your own. So if you wanted to add a YouTube video to this, you could add a YouTube video to this. If you wanted to add some more questions, you could do that. But what's nice about this is there's so much content already there for you, already curated. We pay, a lot of money for this service, and it's a powerful tool. So when you get an opportunity, please take some PDs on it and dig into it.
Yeah, it looks great. I know. I'm thinking about when we return to school in whatever capacity.
Yeah. I
definitely want to do utilize my center time with my technology a lot better, because we've been doing. We have the iPads, and they've been doing a math game. I can't remember the name of it, or they go to Mayan. Those were the two options. But I want to be able to have them do things like Nearpod or quizzes, or take a quiz in Google Classroom, so that we can keep the rigor there, you know? So this is great.
And you know what?
Uh-huh.
The Nearpod also integrates with the Google Classroom. So you can add, once you get in here and you're logged in, you can add lessons directly, just like you did that quizzes, to your Google Classrooms.
Okay, and then all they have to do is just click and go.
Yep.
So what do I need to do now? They're going to provide us training like for this, like 3 or 4 different times. But if I want to investigate it myself, let me see if I have the steps correctly. I go to Nearpod, I log in with Google account.
Yep.
And then I find something that I like after I preview the classes, and then I email you or Brooke, no.
Or Jacob.
Okay, email. Okay, and then what after that? That's where I got lost.
Well, once you do that, you'll get upgraded. I'm gonna right now I'm on a page that's on Nearpod, and I'll put it in the chat. I know I've given you a lot of information to take on here, and I can share this with you again. But
thank you.
Right here, they have live webinars.
Oh, okay.
And they also record them, and so I'm looking at the link I just sent you, and self-guided instructional videos. And here are some, right here is their YouTube channel. In that YouTube channel, how Nearpod works, logging in, homepage, live or student paced, how students join. I won't read all that, but it's got a lot of stuff on here. Looks like they've got 9 videos of the basics of Nearpod. So this would be a good start. And then they also have the live webinars. And then every Wednesday, we're doing vocabulary and our Nearpod Wednesday afternoons.
Okay. Yeah, I think this will be great. The bad thing is that tomorrow I double booked myself, so I won't be able to do like Nearpod 101. So to supplement, I think I'm going to come back and look at these videos. That'll help keep me up to date, I think.
Yeah.
Because I've used vocabulary for years. Love vocabulary.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I paid for it in my classroom at Decker Middle, and I loved it.
Yeah. Well, I had it at my home for a while. We had it free at school, then we lost it. I've worked for all kind of districts. And so I paid, I did the free one, and it was like 3 or 4 months that they gave us for free. So yeah, I love vocabulary.
Nice.
But
nice.
This is good. Thank you you so much for taking the time to
Yeah.
do this for me. I appreciate it. My students, thank you.
Well, and if you got, yeah, for sure. If any of your peers need some help, tell them to reach out. Same
I
for
sure
you.
will.
And we can
I
do
sure
this
will.
again. So are you
Thank
comfortable
you.
with getting in your classroom now and doing all that too?
Yes, my first goal is to do the Google Forms. I need
Okay.
to figure out how to get that done.